For today's headlines, PCCI urges Filipinos to take available COVID-19 vaccine. Frontliners received CoronaVac shot. Many students still prefer face-to-face classes, says Briones. Blaming speaker for AFP pension cut backfires on Defensor. Ex-VP says vaccine rollout rite not basis for switch to MGCQ. Samantha Bernardo competes in Miss Grand International. Ginebra and NorthPort trading their giants. Northeast Monsoon gaining strength. Good morning, I am Sandy Locos and you're watching Tribune News on Q. Today is Wednesday, March 3, and now the news. The leader of the Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry, or PCCI, the country's largest business organization, asked the public to take whatever vaccine the country could get. PCCI President Ambassador Benedicto Yuico made a call during an exclusive interview with the Daily Tribune as the government starts administering CoronaVac to Frontliners, the China-made vaccine donated by Sinovac Biotech. Ironically, despite Yuico's call for trusting the CoronaVac, he said the PCCI member companies would prefer the vials from other makers. Skepticism marked the rollout of Sinovac's products due to its low efficacy rate of 50.4% in tests conducted in Brazil. However, healthcare experts including Dr. Anthony Fauci of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases said that although it has lower efficacy, the vaccine still protects the public against serious consequences of COVID-19 such as hospitalization and even death. The country rolled out its vaccination drive on Monday in 6 hospitals using the COVID-19 vaccine developed by Sinovac Biotech, which were donated by the Chinese government to the Philippines. A total of 756 Filipinos received shots of COVID-19 vaccine on the first day of the immunization program, which Malacanang and the Department of Health described as successful and quite satisfactory on Tuesday. Of this, 353 recipients were from the Veterans Memorial Medical Center, 128 from the Philippine General Hospital, 110 from the PNP General Hospital, and 85 from Dr. Jose N. Rodriguez Memorial Hospital in Caloocan City. 60 individuals also received vaccines at Victoriano Luna Medical Center, while 20 people were inoculated at the Lung Center of the Philippines. Health Secretary Francisco Duque III said he was quite satisfied with the rollout of the COVID-19 vaccines. In other news, the Department of Education on Tuesday said many students still prefer to have face-to-face classes over distance learning modality. Education Secretary Leonor Briones, in an interview with Daily Tribune Straight Talk, said she was not surprised that children would want to be taught by teachers because there are a lot of distractions when studying at home. With the rollout of the government's national vaccination program, the Education Secretary expressed optimism that it will lead to the implementation of the pilot testing of face-to-face classes. She said they have already chosen over 1,000 schools located in areas with minimal to zero cases of COVID-19 nationwide to pilot test the face-to-face classes. Its implementation, she added, should be a shared effort of DepEd, local government units, and the students' families. The Senate has given its nod to the DepEd's proposal earlier after lawmakers filed Resolution Number 998 urging the immediate implementation of the pilot testing as part of the preparation of the national rollout. Senators Sherwin Gatchalian, Nancy Binay, Francis Pangilinan, Grace Poe, Pia Cayetano, and Joel Villanueva and Sonny Angara said the pilot testing will enable the DepEd to gather evidence on the ground and design its framework for the safe opening of schools. Tribune News and Q will be back after these reminders.
Montero Sport. Elevate your journey.
Drive your ambition. Mitsubishi Motors.
Iba ng panahon, ang dami ng bago ngayon. Pati ang mundo natin, well, nagbago na rin. Buti ang magbayad, bigger, better na. You can buy it sa centers, pati sa mga partners, may online pa at app. You can buy it with your fingers, still don't remittance and more. Online shopping, you can buy it all. Di magpadala, you can buy it all. Anumang pera transaction, you can buy it all.
Sabayan ang pagbabago ng mundo for all your pera transactions, all new Bayad.
Anak Kalusugan Representative Mike Defensor on Monday accused Speaker Lord Alan Velasco of slashing the budget for the military's 2021 Pension Gratuity Fund or PGF. Defensor argued that Velasco allowed the House to cut the PGF's budget from 172.9 billion pesos to 152.9 billion pesos despite President Duterte's instruction to prioritize the pension system for members of the military and other uniformed personnel. Deputy Speaker Arne Teves accused Defensor of trying to make Velasco look bad in the eyes of the President. Senior Deputy Speaker Doy Leachon blamed Representative Alan Peter Cayetano's camp for the current problems faced by the uniformed retirees. Leachon said more than 70 billion pesos was deducted from the 2020 PGF budget during Cayetano's term as a speaker. Deputy Speaker Isidro Ungab responded to Defensor's allegation by revealing that the bigger cut in the PGF was made during Cayetano's leadership of the House. Ungab accused Cayetano of manipulating the 2020 General Appropriations Act, which resulted in budget cuts totaling to 209 billion pesos, including the more than 70 billion pesos slashed from the PGF. Ungab was the chair of the House Committee on Appropriations when Congress approved the 2019 4.1 trillion national budget for 2020, and Cayetano was still the speaker then. The bicameral version of the national budget, he alleged, was finalized by Cayetano and former Deputy Speaker Luis Raymond Villafuerte in the office of the Speaker. Former Vice President Jejomar Binay saw the government's ceremonial rollout of a part of the 600,000 vials of the China-made CoronaVac vaccines should not be used as a gauge to ease the lockdown restrictions as requested by business groups. The president of the United Nationalist Alliance said the event was meant only to boost the public's trust in the government's vaccination program and does not give a clear picture of the country's inoculation drive. He stressed that only 700 medical frontliners were administered with shots on Monday. Binay was responding to calls by various business organizations for President Duterte to heed his economic team's recommendations to shift from MGCQ to a more relaxed MGCQ by April. Various government hospitals hosted the ceremonial vaccination of some government officials and health workers on Monday. Samantha Bernardo may not be able to compete for the last time in the 57th Binibining Pilipinas, but her journey to the crown is far from over. Officially appointed to represent the country at the Miss Grand International, Samantha was given a special virtual send-off by the Binibining Pilipinas Charities Incorporated. Reigning beauty queens joined the online gathering. Prior to her appointment, Bernardo was second runner-up in Binibining Pilipinas 2018 and first runner-up in the 2019 edition. She joined its 2020 edition but it was postponed due to the pandemic. She competed in Miss World Philippines 2013, landing in the top 13 and winning Best in Talent. She lost to Megan Young, who was crowned Miss World 2013. Bernardo, who hails from Palawan, was a former rhythmic gymnast and the second Binibini in this year's roster to be appointed to an international competition. We will be back. Stay with us.
Araneta City, home to the country's first indoor shopping mall, the world's original Thrilla, and the first ever Binibini pageant. Now a place for your first win, your first catch, your first home, your first big break, your first date, and even your first love. Araneta City, the city of firsts.
In sports, a massive trade featuring a pair of elite big men is in the works as Barangay Ginebra San Miguel is looking to ship Greg Slaughter to NorthPort in exchange for Christian Starhandinger. A source, a well-known power broker in PBA, told Daily Tribune that the Kings and the Batang Pier have already finalized a deal that is expected to reach the desk of PBA Commissioner Willie Marshall soon. The trade will push through, according to the source. Shortly after helping the Kings win the Governor's Cup crown in 2019, Slaughter packed his bags for the United States after failing to reach an agreement with SMC Sports Director Al Francis Chua about his new contract. He spent more than a year there and even signed up with an international basketball agency that also manages the career of Nikola Jokic and other European stars. He returned to Manila late last year and witnessed the Kings' champion celebration during the Philippine Cup that was held inside a quarantine bubble in Clark. He patched things up with Kings and was reportedly signed into a contract last month. Starhandinger, on the other hand, is coming off a stellar performance in the previous season. Although the Batang Pier finished with a 1-10 win-loss record, Starhandinger still footed 15.9 points, 12.9 rebounds, and 3.8 assists and more than 37 minutes of action every night. If ever the trade pushes through, Starhandinger will return to the SMC camp after the Beermen drafted him as top overall pick in 2017. The northeast monsoon has regained strength and is affecting northern and central Luzon today, Pag-asa said in its 4 a.m. weather advisory. Cloudy skies with rains are expected in Cagayan Valley, Cordillera Administrative Region, Aurora, and Quezon. Partly cloudy to cloudy skies with isolated light rains are expected in Metro Manila and the rest of Luzon. Meanwhile, localized thunderstorms are expected to bring partly cloudy to cloudy skies with isolated rain showers in the rest of the country. And that wraps up these stories this morning. Catch the latest news on our website tribune.net.ph and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Tribune Now. The Daily Tribune is one with the nation in facing the COVID-19 crisis, and in line with this, the Daily Tribune digital edition on Press Reader is now available for free online. You can also download the Daily Tribune app on Apple Store or Google Play to get the latest and most comprehensive news online. Daily Tribune is also inviting everyone to join its community Viber Kachibu to get updates on the freshest and hottest news and entertainment stories of the day. Tarsito emoticons are also available on our community Viber, Just visit the sticker store and search for Kachibu Community. And before we go, we would like to thank the SM Store and Araneta Center. Again, this is Andy Locos, and you are watching Tribune News on Q. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay at home. Good morning and have a nice day.
I am Elmer Navarro Manuel. Coronavirus case.
I am Sandy Locos.
Duterte, dadalo.
Si Ray Sanchez.
Good morning, I am Vernon Velasco.
Only government authorized to
Magandang hapon. Ako si Pauline Songko. Ospital naghahanda para sa COVID. Ako si Luis Lisan at ito ang Tribune News. Kay Ramsey, may mensahe kay Andrew.
Si Jomel Garner. At ito,
Pagsali sa face-to-face prepare to define. COVID cases pumalo sa 7.
Missed the chance to acquire 10.
Luis Lisan.
si Jomel Garner.
Ako si Ray Sanchez.
Vernon Velasco.
Ako si Pauline Songko.
Sandy Locos.
I am Elmer Navarro Manuel, and this is Tribune News on Q.
Viber is the free and secure way to connect with friends and family, anywhere. Send messages and make phone and video calls for free. Download Viber now.